Hello and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Sasha Reed and I have got a slimline card tutorial for you where we're going to make one from scratch, and it is super quick, super easy and loads of fun. So to get started you need some plain white cardstock as your base. I've got this 300 GSM cardstock from Lime Tree Craft. I'm going to cut it down to measure 8.5 by 7 inches. And now we're going to fold the 7-inch side in half, and that's going to make our card base. Then we're going to need a top panel, and that top panel will be 8.25 by 3.25. So our overall card size base will be 8.5 by 3.5, and that is a standard slimline card base. So that's what we get when we fold it in half on the 7-inch side. Now, just a quick little side bit here. If you don't like cutting your own cards from scratch and your own card bases, Alina does offer a set of dies to cut slimline cards with. It's got a really beautiful kind of border topper and really pretty edge to do your little envelope with. So that will be linked down below in case you're not a fan of cutting your own card bases. There is a die set that I can link to for you that you could follow along. Now this is my little jar that I keep on my desk where I keep all my strips. I've had these colored strips in there for probably about 2 years now, a really long time. They're roughly about 1 centimeter wide each. They're all the same, so I pulled them all out and thought I would use those as my background. So all I've done here is I've taken some adhesive from a tape runner, and I've just applied some onto the top of my card. I didn't apply it fully down the whole way down the card because I wanted to be able to grip the card a bit when I was making it. Now I'm just arranging my little rainbow order. I thought I would try and stick with rainbow order. I did pull it up on my phone because I never know what rainbow order is. And I kind of just went along with that sort of as a guide. And then I'm just kind of applying a bit more adhesive as I go, so I've got something to hold on to. In a minute when I get to the end of this bit of adhesive, I just kind of slapdash it all over the place. Now you could use a glue stick if that's what you've got. You could use liquid glue. You don't have to use a tape runner. I just wanted to use what I had on my desk and I thought that would be easiest. So I'm just covering that back panel with that adhesive and applying my strips and trying to get them as close as I can to each other. And you do see a little bit of white there between that purple and blue, but you won't notice it because I'm going to cover it in a bunch of shimmer and glitter as well. So I've just applied all my little layers, and then I can go ahead and trim off the excess from the back and get rid of all those little scrap bits. Now you could, if you're really frugal, you could save all those little scrap bits for another card, but I just put them in the recycling because I'd had enough of looking at them by this point. And so yeah, so just trimming off that back edge bit. And then we're going to go and make it a bit more funky. Oh yes, I did notice that on this left-hand side was a tad bit of white. So I'm using this Tim Holtz paper trimmer. It's really good, cuts through a lot of stuff, and you can get a really fine cut. So I just trimmed off that little bit. This is my homemade wink of Stella. I will link this tutorial down below. I've done a little video on how you can make your own with whatever you've got at home. And I'm just taking a large flat brush and I'm going to apply it all over my background. And I just find this is much more economically efficient, if that's the right word, and a lot quicker than using an actual wink of Stella. I find wink of Stella is very, very, very expensive, and I love shimmer and I love shine. So I've just gone to town with glitterizing the back of my little card base here, and it was dead quick and easy and cost me probably maybe 1 penny to do. So there's my shimmery background. I've just kind of covered it all up. I've got these letter dies from Alina. I got these a long time ago, probably like 3 years ago. They're still in her shop. They're just a decorative set of letters. They have little kind of diamonds on each of the letter, and they come with, you can also buy numbers as well. And so I thought I would form the word hello from them. And I got out my gold foil card and used that. And then I wanted to make them stand up, but I didn't trust using foam. So I've got some extra white cardstock bits there. I've got this tonic glue. This is the cheapest tonic glue you can get. It costs about £1 for this bottle. Now you do see me put quite a bit down by accident. That was an oopsie. So I do scrape it back into the bottle afterwards. But what I'm going to do is apply my liquid glue onto the tops of my die cuts, and that way I can stack them and make it more dimensional and pop up off the card a little bit more. Now I've got my Altenew mat down below. It's a silicone mat, so it's really great because it sticks to my work surface super well and wipes clean dead easy. So I always use it for slapping my glue all over the place because it takes me just seconds to wipe up the glue. So I'm just dabbing it on there, and then I'm saving the foil for last and just adhering that down. Now I'm going to share a little tip with you in a second if you get glue on the top of your foil, how you can quick and easily get it off your foil before it dries. So there's my little stack die cut, 2 white ones and then a gold foil one. Now I've got these wipes, I picked them up from Aldi, they're biodegradable. So if I have to use baby wipes, then I think these are a great alternative. I try not to, I try and use cloths and things, but when it comes to glue, I sometimes don't really want to get my reusable cloth completely covered in a crusty glue because I leave it to sit, and it was a very hot day today. So I just kind of wipe it with the baby wipe, and then I go back with my microfiber cloth and wipe it up, and I just kind of do that in between each of my letters, and then I don't get a big sticky mess. Now I'm applying some of my more expensive tonic glue, the more professional tonic glue, to the back of my card panel so I can stick that down. I've got all my letters done now. I did them all off camera. And so I've got them all stacked, and I've got my big pile of glue still there. You can see how little I've used of it. Little goes a long way. I've got that makeup sponge, which is what I'm using to apply it with. And then I'm just adding on the glue and sticking it down. Now it's very, very easy to get glue on the top of that foil. So I try and use a different place on my mat, but I was working within a limited space that you could see what I was doing. So I was just kind of cleaning between each letter. It is really easy though to get that glue to kind of smudge onto the front, especially when you're pushing it down and trying to make sure it's adhered well. The secret little trick is just grab a dry cloth. I have baby flannels from muslins from breastfeeding ages ago. And then I've also got microfiber cloths, and all you do is just sort of firmly rub on the top, and it just comes straight off. You don't get any mess, and you just get this beautiful shine. And that's what I do every single time, because I always get glue on the top of my foil. And foil is great because it's super easy to wipe off with a dry cloth. So just grab a dry cloth, use a firm hand, not too hard that you're going to damage your letters and make them go flying off your card, but it works a treat, and I've never had an issue. But you do it straight away. As soon as you see that glue there, you just give it a bit of a rub and you don't have that left over. I've got this Butterfly Gala stamp set, and I'm going to use You've Been on My Mind from it. So my stamping platform that I got today is, I think, the Hampton Art one. I'll link it down below. I can't remember whether I got it on Amazon or CraftStash, but I'm trying out this new platform, just so I've got another option. And I'm just going to add my stamp. And I'm using my stamp platform purely for the reason that if I didn't get it exactly where I wanted it, it would be really annoying. So I can use the stamp platform and get it lined up perfectly. And also if it doesn't fully stamp, I can then stamp it a second time and get that perfect clear image. So I toyed and told over whether to ink my edges, and I decided not to. And now I kind of think, I think maybe if I ink the edges with the purple, it might have looked a little bit better, but maybe not. But I just decided to stick it on. Given my letters were already dimensional, I thought just sticking it straight down would be really nice and look really good. I've got these flat back gems from Alina's shop. I use all my gems are basically from her shop. They are my favorite. I've been spending a ton of money buying more. And this is my little picky up tool. It is a stylus, and it has just got blue tack on it. I lose things like crazy, and this is my economically efficient way of putting my gems on. I like to put my glue down first and then go and stick my gems on. So I've just plopped some glue dots around, and then I'm going to pick up my gems, and then I find my pokey tool helps to kind of release it from that blue tack if it's a bit extra sticky. And that's literally how I apply my gems. It's really quick, really easy, and costs nothing because it's what I've got in my craft room. I swear to you, I have tried a few different sticky tools, and I have lost them all, or they've broken, and actually blue tack on the end of a tool is just perfect and works a treat. So I would recommend doing that in your craft room. There's our card all nice and finished, and I love how it turned out. I love all the gems. Now the next thing obviously we need is an envelope. So I had a little play and came up with an envelope. I've got this paper. It's 120 GSM, so it is more paper than card. It's like a thick paper. It is a gold shimmer paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim it to 10.5 inches long. Now this is a UK sized A4 piece of paper, and I am just scoring it 2 1/8 of an inch from each end, and then I'm flipping it the other direction, as you can see now, and I've scored it 1 inch, which is this side here on the left, and then the other one at a 1/2 inch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut those little squares, those little rectangles off the sides, but we're going to miter them as we do it. So we're going to take a little bit extra off so that we've got a bit more wiggle room for that flap to kind of close. So as you can see, I'm just snipping that one edge, and then I'm coming in on a slight little angle just to get that bit of wiggle room. So very easy, very simple. I'll put all the measurements down below for my envelope and my card, so you can also check out down there if you couldn't keep up. I'm sorry, I meant to say it at the beginning of the video. So everything you need will be in the description box. I'll link everything I can down there. So now obviously here's our little flap, and it's a very, very, very thin little overlap. And now I don't know what it'll be like on paper in other countries, but on this one, when I've scored it at 2 1/8, I've got that tiny edge, so I've used some tiny tape. Now this is a corner rounder, a massive corner rounder, and I'm just rounding the corners to kind of add a nice little professional finish. I've got a slightly wider bit of sticky tape here that I'm going to use on this edge. I will link all these tapes down below as well. They're from AliExpress. And then now for the flap on the top. So we're going to stick the card in first so you can see it actually fits. I did it slightly wider than the card to account for the jewels and the gems. So we've got a dimensional card, so now we've got an envelope that will fit it. Now I've got this envelope gum. I found this on Craft Stash and ordered it a couple months ago. And all you have to do is apply it onto the top, and then you can moisten it like a normal envelope. Now, the tricky bit was I didn't know what to use to apply it with, so I just thought I'll use a clean finger because I didn't want to use a paintbrush and then risk, you know, me licking that at some later date and getting paintbrush dirt on my mouth. So I've used my clean finger, but you can also use washi tape to seal it up if you want, or a glue stick and glue it down. And it's dead easy and simple to make. This whole entire card took me about an hour to an hour and a half to make, including all my faffing about time. I had a very limited amount of time this morning with the kids being busy eating breakfast, so I quickly nipped in and made up a fun little quick card. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Please do like and subscribe, and I hope you'll join me in my next video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.